The next question is there a point where you encounter a student who is simply not musical enough to get this or detect that they are not singing in tune?
Well, this could be a question for anybody at all. And of course, the answer is if you've taught more than, say, 100 people at some point, yes, of course, you've met people who are very beginning and making these associations, but that is not to be confused with tone deaf or anything that is debilitating. It has to do with the fact that they didn't make these associations yet. That's all. It doesn't matter. I had a client who is awesome, dude, and it has nothing to do with intelligence. It has nothing to do with aptitude. It's all just it's Darwin. It's nature versus nurture. This is nurture, not nature. He is in his, I guess, 50s. He's a psychologist. He used to be an electrical engineer. He's got schooling credentials out the wazoo. But when he started to sing, and he loved singing, it was stage fright, meaning even in front of a person like me in the room, like sweat profusely, just the conversation of singing. It's just a reaction, right? And when he would sing his big, beautiful, low voice, oh, and he'd be like, okay, what do we do now? And this is, we should have I would love, by the way, may I submit something? This is maybe a class more for teachers, but what do you do with people who can barely register pitch yet? But we worked weekly for months and months and months. And you just all you need for this is love of music and patience and clear intention. That's all you need. And hopefully someone to work with you to point out, hear how the note disappears. There's you speak as much as I do, but there's no easy. There's no way out but through. Patience and love. That's all you need.
I think what's important about what you just said is that people used to just tell singers, "You're tone deaf. Forget about it."
Yeah.
Right? And so if you have this issue, like what you said, it's just there's a coordination that you didn't develop at some point. You have to develop it. And it can be tedious. It's going to take time, but the positive side of that is you can accomplish it, and it's not going to take you as long and be as impossible as you may think, but you have to put in consistent effort. It just takes patience, moving slow, a sure step, not too many steps, right?
Yeah. I was just writing this to somebody yesterday. I am not a visual artist. Okay. So I couldn't just tell you this is fuchsia, that's magenta. Because it's a subtle distinction. One of them, I believe, magenta has more brown and red. One of them has a little bit more brown and red than the other. Exactly. Right. But to a visual artist, they're like, what do you mean? How dare you put magenta on this palette? You know what I mean?
Magenta's yeah.
Exactly. And even like my wife thinks I'm colorblind, but sometimes because she's like, that's green. I'm like, no, it's not. It's blue. It's some shade of aqua. Where does it transition to one or the other? Well, maybe I just like blue better. And maybe I'm seeing out of tune, but I clearly haven't spent the focus on shades between the color spectrum. And that's all this is.
Yeah, I totally agree. 99.9% of the time, it can be learned. It's really that's just my belief and my experience.